to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Copeland.
Here.
Martin. Here. Cody. Here. Grady. Schultz. Here. Bass.
All right, we have 6 members present this evening. Looking at the agenda, go ahead and take a look down to line item 8. We're going to remove that for this evening. We have not met our 14-day window before we can go ahead and approve the ordinance for the annexation, so we will see that at the next meeting. So with line item 8 removed, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion. Motion by Baus, second by Honey. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, council. Citizens Participation, Cuba Development Group. Mr. Barnett, how are you, sir?
Thank you.
What can we do for you?
Well, I'm, as you know, I'm a member of Cuba Development Group. We're here tonight to ask the council to actually continue the funding for the economic development position. I'd like to just briefly go back to 1981, give just a little bit of quick history. In those days, unemployment was 25%. Companies were moving to China. Things were tough, and the city really stepped forward. As some of you know, they bought South Park. They hired a person to be the IDA coordinator. They worked to get an enterprise zone. And in 5-6 years, we have over 1,000 some-odd jobs created. We've had an IDA coordinator now for actually 42 years. Dennis, and of course, Norman, as you all knew, Marty. Dennis did step in for a year or two, and then, of course, Sean. Right now, Cuba has the second biggest industrial base, I think, in the area, to the Washington Union area. The program worked for 42 years to have somebody there to, to focus on it. Of course, it creates jobs, as we know, for local folks. From the city's point of view, it's a major source of, utility sales for you all. And, the coordinator, and some of you know, there are 3 main jobs. They coordinate with the major employers. They call them, 2 or 3 times a year. If there's an issue, they're there to take care of it. If there's something new in the area coming in, they're the focal point. The other part, of course, they're going up to Jeff City several times a year to coordinate with the IDA folks. If there is a new opportunity for our state, it'd be great for Cuba to be one of the cities they mentioned. So anyway, we'd like you all to consider adding funds to your budget. We have Cuba Development Group. We have $10,000 we can actually contribute. We'd like you all to actually consider 40. You all have been contributing $62,000 up until when Sean left. Also, talking to some of you all and thinking it through, we think right now that the right person, a part-time employee, could work. So anyway, we'd like you all to, consider adding that to your budget for this coming year. It's a program that we've had in place for 42 years. It's worked well, and we'd like you all to consider it. Yeah. Are there any questions at all?
Any questions, council?
And I want to mention Josh Broom from Bank of Sullivan, who's on our board, is here tonight too. So,
Josh,
yeah.
All right. So yeah, in my experience, we've always had somebody in this role as well. Obviously, after Sean's departure, that hasn't been replaced yet. But I know your board has been brainstorming on what you would like to see that role look like and reinvesting into that role in the near future. So. Again, I know the city's helped fund a portion of that. Sounds like you're asking for about $20,000 or less this time around from the city. And then, as you well know, with our April elections being over and our fiscal year coming to an end, we'll be working on our fiscal year 2024 budgets very soon. So this will be the time to lobby for something like this and approach the council. So I thank you for that. And as we start building our budget, if this council so wishes, we'll try to include some funds for this position. And as long as it makes it through to the final passed and balanced budget, you know, we'll be happy to work with you. But there's going to be some conversations and some things that take place with the council and the budget committee. But I hear you loud and clear, and I would personally like to see it be funded if possible.
Great. And just one other point. Certainly, they would attend, the person would attend our regular monthly CDG meeting, but I think it's also important for that person to actually report probably quarterly to the council, so they're aware of what they're doing and really how their money's being spent. So. Yeah,
and we could utilize an individual to help facilitate our utility abatements and the different things that we have. That's something that we're currently missing is, you know, we have industry in town that's part of the utility abatement program, but we don't have anybody in the role right now to follow up with those minimum requirements and making sure that criteria is being met, and also checking with any new industry that might be interested in joining that program. So that would definitely be something that would benefit the city. As well as I would like to see that person, if possible, really assist with some grant writing opportunities. And I think that's something that you guys are interested in having as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Sure. Yes, sir.
I also would like to see us get this board back together. It's worked in the past. This is the first time in 40-something years that we do not have this group helping us. This is the first time this board has not had nobody helping us. We need the Cuba Development Group. Their experience, their knowledge, they go to Jet City, find out where the grants are at, where, you know, everything. We need $40,000 is no money when it comes to our hometown. We got to invest in our hometown. This is perfect, right here. You know as well as I do, $40,000 is no money. Get this board going and see what they can do. I support this 100%.
Jim, I just have one question.
Sure.
So I can see the benefit to Cuba. Is this also a benefit, do you see this as a benefit to Crawford County? And if so, do they ever contribute to this allotment?
In the past, they have actually supplied rock, as I recall, as I remember, when there was a new building. But it's really been mainly a Cuba-focused thing.
Because, well, as you know, we've spoken about this, you and I before.
Right.
And my big thing on this is I'm not opposed to it at all, but I want some results. And so the accountability issue is a big deal for me.
I think that's very important.
We can't keep, I mean, 40,000 may not be anything, but when we look at the budget, there's lots of people who could use 40,000 within the city and their program. And so at the end of the day, I think results and is the critical thing.
I completely agree.
Certainly worth a shot if we've got the money, but
Right.
accountability is
I agree.
so important.
I would agree with that. A little more transparency this time around, maybe with what that role is accomplishing.
Yeah, that's where our business is, what we can do, talk to. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Edson, do you have some reports this evening?
I do, thank you.
Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Thurman. For the record, my name is Dan Edson. I live at 505 Kidwell Drive. I've been there for about 6 years, and I don't have any other place to buy utilities from except the city of Cuba there, so we keep pretty good records. And I've noticed that my utility bill, specifically my electric bill, kind of varies a little bit. And there was no explanation on my bill why that was varied. And I'll give you, for instance, this time last year, my electric alone was $60 less than it was this year. And there's no annotation as to why that is. Now, I tried to get an explanation, and they did the best they could, but there was some type of a variable fuel charge that the city enjoys from wherever we're buying power from. And that gets put into the bill, and I guess that's put in with the electric charge. when I first came in inquiring about this, I wanted to know if there was a rate adjustment anywhere, because you guys told us when we were adjusting the water billing, we had a mailing on that. I didn't get anything on electric, and I was assured that the electric rates had not changed, but there was this variable fuel charge. So I was just kind of curious why we're not putting that on the bill, why we're not clearly stating, look, this is your usage, and this is your kilowatt per hour. And that's the other thing, is that I'm noticing that we're not putting any type of rates on these bills. Gallons per water per 100 gallons, or per 100 gallons of gas, or anything like that. There's a meter reading and consumption in the bill. That's it. Now, every other place that I've lived in this nation generally will give me an idea of what I'm paying per kilowatt hour for 100 gallons of water. So I would like for the city to kind of look into maybe incorporating something like that. And then this variable fuel charge, it just seems like a hidden charge. No matter what I do, I mentioned that I've lived here for 6 years in this particular residence. I've done everything I can to make the electric go down. LED lights throughout the house, extra insulation. I even installed an attic fan to keep the heat down out of the attic. I've put insulation around my water heater and put it on a timer, and I mean everything that I can think of. And for some reason or other, my electric keeps going up. And it's not consumption. My consumption stays just about the same, within 50 or 60 kilowatt hours. Well, whatever that number is. So, is there a possibility that we can start incorporating, you have no problem putting on this IN charge, which was for the last 2 years, for that February from hell that we had to pay X amount. You annotated that. Can we put in some type of, or annotate some type of a variable fuel charge so we understand why our bill is going up, going down?
I don't see why not. Or at least a letter of explanation on how it's created, just so folks have a better understanding of what the fuel charge is. Probably not.
I'm still trying to understand that. I mean, look, I get it. Everything in the world is going up. It's more. I understand that. But they were talking. I guess it's some type of an average over the last 3 months. Sometimes it's overcharged, and then we get some type of a credit. But we don't know that.
But the consumer doesn't.
We don't see that. The consumer doesn't see that.
I understand. And just like you mentioned, your first 1,000 gallons, there's a rate on your water usage, and then there's a tier system from there. That's not something that's explained or addressed.
It's not. It's not. And it's just kind of a gray area, Like I said, we keep every single bill that we've ever had living there, I can expect my summers to be about $165 running the air conditioner all the time. And I keep the air conditioning clean and the whole 9 yards.
I'm sure.
My winters, by contrast though, I heat the house with electric, and I can expect a $300 to $400 electric bill, This past February, space heaters, only in the rooms that we were using. We put on an extra layer of clothes, we didn't run the house heat.
It was expensive.
And it's $60 more, my bill. So I just kind of like to see an explanation on the bills themselves. As I understand that this is the last month going to be for the 2-year-long.
We finally nearly made it. I'm
really kind of excited over that. But that, with that, it's an extra $100 on my bill. I just wasn't expecting it. That's all. So, any questions for me?
We'll see what we can incorporate, even if it's some sort of quarterly, mail out that explains what the transportation costs and the fuel adjustment charges were and why. I mean, I don't know what we can do to gather information, but I'm sure if there's will, there's a way, right?
Yeah.
And mainly, and I know you talked to Lainey, and I don't know if she's been able to provide all the information that you would like yet, but give her some time and she will.
Well, and she's done a stellar job so far, at least trying to get back to me.
Sure.
I'm not, I can't argue with what she's given me.
Right.
One of the other questions that I had with her, and she doesn't know the answer yet, is, where do we buy our power from? Is it a coal plant? Is it a natural gas plant? Is it a nuclear plant?
So it's a combination of a little bit of all that. As part of our consortium that we are in a purchase agreement with about 13 other communities.
That's what she was
Yeah,
saying.
we buy wholesale power with the consortium, and we pay for a certain percentage of the usage, that we use. We can get it cheaper that way, actually, and it comes from coal, it comes from wind, it comes from solar, it comes from anywhere and everywhere, any source of transportation that they can get it here. That's where we purchase it. And Jen might be able to speak a little bit more to that.
Yeah.
How the co-op gets their power, but it comes from anywhere and everywhere to get here.
They kind of shop around.
Yep.
Which is the best deal.
It's kind of like our natural gas. We have people out there buying futures for our natural gas. We have a purchasing company and a consortium of other communities that buys our power. So we're not just buying it from like Show Me or Ameren. It's coming from all over the place, and then we pay the transportation costs and the cost of the power.
But it's terribly varied, and I would just like to see some type of an annotation on this, explaining to me how much more I'm paying for fuel to get my electric to me. That's all. It'll be easier to swallow that way. I mean,
Right.
I compared the two bills in the same usage within 30, and it was, way out.
Yeah, I don't think you're out of line by asking to know what you're paying for, or just to help understand it a little bit better.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate your time.
But is there anybody else here this evening for citizens participation? Hearing none. Moving on to the approval of the regular meeting minutes of April 6, 2023. Motion to approve. Motion by Honey, second by Bowles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Thank you, Council. You also have your packet of bills to be paid as well as the balance transfers. Motion to approve. Motion by Honey. Second by Bowles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Thank you, Council. Parks and Rec. Recommendations. Parks and Rec held a meeting prior to this meeting. Some folks are here from there. Thank you for working with the scheduling and getting together this afternoon.
So it was a whirlwind meeting, and somebody correct me if I get it wrong, all right? We're going to start out, we've got like 5 things to bring forward to get voted on. First thing is lifeguards. These 3 individuals have been elevated to get voted on, and that will bring our sum total to 10 lifeguards.
Okay.
First one is Cameron Dunk. Second one is Elizabeth Pfizer. Third one is River Nicholson.
Okay.
The committee recommended.
Hold up, before you do that, on the last recommendation, there were 2 guards that were hired under one name. One girl's first name, one girl's last name. It should have been 2 different girls.
They can recommend.
So I need to make sure and approve her tonight also, and it's Megan Leonard.
Okay.
So she just needs to be added so that we can approve her also.
Do you need to approve? Motion to approve the 3 names that Dave said, as well as Maggie Leonard,
Correct.
as well as Steve mentioned.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Bow, second by Honey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that you have 3 names plus Ms. Leonard.
Sure did.
We also wanted to elevate 2 managers' names, Jenna Shireman as the head manager, and Jessica Dresser as the assistant manager.
Okay. Is there a motion to hire Jenna S. Motion. Shireman for the manager for pool for this summer? Motion by Bouse. Second by Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. And is there a motion to hire Jessica
Dresser,
Dresser for the assistant manager position? Motion by Bouse. Second by Martin. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. They are hired.
The third thing is they came up with a new City of Cuba aquatics manual. Not everybody has a copy that they were going to run off before the meeting. There's only 2 basic changes in it. They took the kiddie pool stuff out of it. And in 3.13 section in their employee discipline system, Went to a 3 strikes and you're out system, and there's also 13 ways to lose your job right now. But it will be the council that did those people, so that's in the new manual. We kind of get that approved so we can start briefing this manual when they hire these people over the pool.
Okay. Motion to approve the new aquatics manual, including disciplinary policies, as well as any other new information.
Motion.
Motion by Honey,
Second.
second by Grady. All in favor say aye.
No.
Opposed?
I'm opposed because I haven't got to read it yet.
Okay,
Yeah, this guy.
that's fine. So 5 ayes and
13
1
is the only real change.
abstain. But it was the recommendation of the park board, correct? Okay, very good. What else you got for us, sir?
The fourth thing is, we've talked about this in the past, you've got the picture in front of you there, about cutting trees back to the field so we can get those RV spots started back in there. So the board talked about it tonight. It looks like Nick Adams would come in and log it. We would take the money from Nick Adams logging and pay the labor and equipment that's gonna be necessary to take out the root balls and fill in the holes. And then take the stuff that won't burn and back it up to the fence line where it needs to be filled back there and fill on top of it. So we're looking at it being a wash, am I right?
Correct.
Okay. We're looking at it being a wash, not costing the board anything and not costing the fair board anything as well.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's gonna be some in-house labor on part of the fair board, Jim.
So, what we're gonna do, like Dave said, if we don't, we're not real sure what that drop is gonna look like until we get the trees out of there. So, they're going to push them down to Highland. Joe Boss is also going to help with this, and then cut off the stumps, burn what we can, and then either bury or haul off the county. Jared Boast is offering the county to haul them to the city dump. And then, the fair board, we have a meeting on Thursday to hopefully approve to pay for the fuel for these guys to do this.
Okay.
What we're looking at after that is gravel and dirt. And
Sure.
whoever takes the level up.
So we have, met with Andy over there, the loggers met after that, but we met with Andy, Jared and I did it, and we've marked off all the spots and went to the meter bases on the railroad side. We now have them numbered by bases to kind of get started on this spot thing for the city to start that whole process. And Andy gave us how many meters or how many keepers can actually go to each lot, so we space them off in 20-foot lots. All of that has been done. So it did reduce it down to 27 on the railroad side.
Okay.
So that part's been done, and now we just work on the new ones. And I know Andy has all the material and picked up the meter bases last week.
Okay. The part that I like about it all, and I know we said it before, is there's actual collaboration between the parks and the fair board and the council, and everybody's chipping in and taking ownership and volunteering their time and their efforts, and it's been going really, really well in that regard. So thank you to everybody. Please pass that along to your board as well.
I will.
Everybody that's volunteering their time.
And that's why we came back, is that Lenny and I discussed, it was discussed that the city would take care of it, but then Andy seen it, and he was like, well, this is way more than we think.
Sure.
That night I called Nick, and he's like, we'll meet up there, we met on Friday. Those guys are ready, we're just waiting for the approval of the council, so.
Very good. Any further questions about that, council? Is there a motion to go ahead and approve the work for the tree removal out of the park for the camper spots? Motion by Baus, second by Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, council. Thank you, Jim.
And last but definitely not least, Steve Brown resigned, and we accepted his resignation at the last meeting, and we have this Andy Harley back here, who would like to volunteer her time, and the committee recommended elevating her to a position on the committee.
Well, very good. And thank you, Ms. Hartley, for jumping in on that.
Hi.
It's nice to have a full board. I know you were probably at this meeting just now, so you see all the time and energy that's involved, and having a full board is really, really critical in getting decisions made and brought to us, so that way we can facilitate the park board and the park tax. So thank you very much for that. With that being said, we have a motion to go ahead and accept and you do live in city limits, correct? Okay, just making sure. Yes, motion to go ahead and accept the appointment of Ms. Hartley to the Fair Board. Excuse me, Parks and Rec Board.
Motion.
Motion by Martin, second by Baus. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Thank you, ma'am.
That is all I have.
Thank you, Parks and Rec Board, again for coming in this evening and helping with that. Awesome. Police Chief.
I don't have anything this evening.
How did the food pantry thing
It
go?
went smooth, I didn't get any calls or complaints.
I didn't either, so it's always good.
Yeah.
It's always good. Yeah, I didn't have anything for you.
I don't have anything new with nuisance from Cameron or anything, I didn't see him today, so.
Looks like we have your bill ready for tonight on your grants. Anything for Doug?
Alright.
You're off the hook.
I think so. Trying to make it short and sweet.
Line item number 8 has been removed this evening, so that does take us to the bill number 2091. Is there a motion for the first reading? Motion by Holt, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed. First reading, please, sir.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an agreement with the University of Central Missouri and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to accept a grant for a click it or ticket enforcement campaign.
For the first reading, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Martin, second by Holt. Will the council please?
Baus.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Copeland.
Yes.
Okay, first reading moves as the vote 6-0. Is there a motion for the second reading, bill number 2091? Motion by Grady, second by Holt. Hold the count, excuse me. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Second reading, please, sir.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an agreement with the University of Central Missouri and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to accept a grant for click it or ticket enforcement campaign.
You've heard the second reading. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Baus. Second by Grady. Hold the council, please.
Copeland.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Grady. Holt. Baus.
Second reading moves with vote 6-0. This is now special ordinance 875. 875. Thank you, council. Thank you, Lance. All right, old unfinished new business. Mr. Copeland.
I do. Where we at on this water problem? We gonna take bids yet? And, I don't even know if we got bids stuck in or where.
On the Highland Terrace
Yeah.
water runoff, so the bids have been received. We are still working with some adjoining landowners to make sure everybody's on the same page as far as the work that's going to be conducted. Once we hear back from them very soon, they have an attorney, and I know Lance has been communicating with their attorney. We'll be ready to open those bids.
Okay.
So hopefully by the next meeting we can open those bids.
So I have.
Ms. Martin.
Basically just some airport, information. We did meet with the, companies, both the environmental standpoint and the fuel tank standpoint last week. Bad news is the estimate that they had given us prior to the meeting back in January is no longer valid. The good news is a second company, which they had been trying to get a hold of, did show up, so we do have some competition, and that might be good. So that's still, Travis is working on getting that information together. A couple things they would like to have taken care of out of the airport, and the first one is some gates. So when you go down Springfield Road, anybody who wants to, can just drive through those open areas out onto the runway. And, fencing would be ideal, but maybe just some gates over the actual road usage, or it's private. The airport owns it, or the city owns the property, so it's not like we have to get somebody else's permission to put it up. So that's something we would like to have somebody look at and possibly correct. And then the other thing is, I don't know much about this, they have an influx of pigeons, and pigeons and airplanes do not coincide well, so they would like to see about getting rid of the pigeons. I don't know how you do that.
Season
I don't know how to do that either.
Just throw that out there.
Scarecrows, I don't know.
I don't know.
Big hawks on top of the building.
Propellers might be the word, but I'm not sure.
Any-
So,
I'd like to open that to the public. If anybody has any thoughts, please let us know. Pellet gun 22s.
big cats, okay.
Right.
And I think if I didn't already mention it, I would say flagpole and flag. That's
Oh,
something
flagpole and flag.
They really need. I also agree, we need
Yeah.
an airport, this is federal aviation airspace and should have.
Did we direct anybody to look into that yet?
No, I don't know who does the flagpoles.
Yes, sir.
We were gonna talk to Jerry about it
Yeah.
at the last meeting.
Okay.
One of my previous employers, we had a terrible problem with the pigeons in the courtyards that we had. And the only time we ever saw any type of a drop in when the pigeons were there was when an owl or some type of a hawk took up residence in those areas. And they would run off, they would eat them. So maybe perhaps,
Airplanes don't like them either.
well, okay, but the chances of you getting one owl or one hawk,
100 pigeons.
30 pigeons,
Yeah.
40 pigeons is a lot better. I like those odds a little better. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, some type of a housing that would encourage an owl or some type of an owl or a hawk or something to take up residence, maybe might help.
Here's one that's
We can arrange things. Okay.
And we tried everything. I mean, we tried the noise.
Well, you see the fake owls and the fake hawks all the time.
That didn't work.
It worked.
That didn't work.
You did the real thing, huh?
And
we gotta see what
when feathers are flying, that's the most effective way.
That's just a circle of life.
It is.
Sometimes that's just what works best.
But it fixed the problem.
So that's basically all that.
Okay, we'll have Jerry check on the pole, the flag, and the cost, and see if we can get that done for him. Hey, ma'am?
Years ago, when I was animal control, I was sent out there to take care of the pigeon problems. And we used a 22 bird shot. And the gentleman who ran the airport at the time, he thought he would use a 12 gauge. Well, we also had a geese problem. So he shot, but the geese was still shot, and forgot to take it out, and he blew a hole in the roof with the still shot. So if you're gonna shoot them, make sure you use bird shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but we'll try to figure something out. Mr. Johnny?
I had something, I lost a good pigeon.
Oh, okay, well, you did a lot of representing the park board this evening. Warren? No. Curtis?
The only thing I got is on the news that Jim Apple on the gas department is moving up to the old electric shop.
Okay.
Because it's more convenient, bigger, and he's moving everything up there. And he asked me about it, I said, "We're gonna do it."
Okay.
So the gas department now will be in the front.
In front,
Right out the front, where the electric shop was on the fourth. So that's all I got, unless Jim's got something to go.
Yes, sir.
There was some, I guess, thing that was brought up in the last meeting. But anyway, we rectified the moisture issue that we were having to deal with. Well, that's where I said in the other office, but we did remove the damaged areas. So it's just an open area. So we eliminated the problem that was there, so.
Okay. That'll prevent any future further problems.
Right, yep.
Thank you.
We took care of that today.
Thank you, sir.
The only thing I have is the issue we talked about for executive session. I would like Lance to send a letter to that person.
Okay.
For record.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Have you heard from Kevin Burton on this house now?
Good question. I don't think.
I have not heard.
He was awarded the bid. I'm not sure where he's waiting on.
It's been months.
Yeah, it has been. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you.
As soon as he was awarded the bid, he was talking about that asbestos stuff, but I have not heard anything since.
Okay. Well, we'll reach out. Just get into it. We want to get it done, get paid.
I've read the part
have some bids that will probably be opening in the next meeting on that generator that we put out to bid. Ron brought us a vehicle, he mentioned it last time he was here, to go ahead and run bids for an old electric department truck. It's a 1989 Ford F800 single axle dump truck. Gross vehicle weight 25,300 pounds, it's got 105,000 miles on it, it's got a 429 motor in it, it's 5-speed transmission, and he has a reserve set on this at $4,000. But we can, if council so chooses, run bids for this in the paper, and probably wouldn't make it in till next week, and then the week after that. So we have them turned in by Friday the 12th at 3 p.m. We could open them into the second meeting in May for this dump truck.
Motion to put it in the paper.
Okay, motion to run the bid for the 1989 Ford F800 dump truck. Motion by Boss.
Can we change the time before?
Whatever works better for you, yeah, sure, absolutely. So motion by Boss, second by Honey. We'll run this and have seal bids due by Friday the 12th. Works. Here's the information for that truck. And that's all I had, so pretty easy this evening. Lenny, anything else? Motion to adjourn the meeting. Second by Hold, all in favor, say aye.